welcome to this week's episode of Light the Wick. I'm your host, Paige Slavic. On today's show, we'll learn the history of the Good Humor Bar, visit the Iron Roots Garden Workshop, and get a sneak peek of the Pollock House, resident of YSU President Jim Tressel. With all the stress that the semester brings, the one thing that students look forward to is spring break. For students, it's a great time to kick back, relax, or even take a vacation. Light the Wick's John Carlos LeBron and Nami Nagoka went around campus to ask students how they spent their spring break.
I went back home and stayed with my family.
I spent my time working throughout that whole week here at YSU.
I went to Naples, Florida, God's waiting room, as it is known by many, the land of the retirees.
I took the student bus trip up to Detroit to watch the men's basketball game play in the semifinals.
I actually went to Savannah, Georgia. It's over by Hilton Head. If you don't know where that is, it's a beautiful city. It's very historic.
I went to Washington, D.C.
And I stuck around Youngstown still.
I went down to Destin, Florida for spring break.
Whom did you spend with?
My mom mostly.
I got to see my mom a little bit, so that was exciting.
My parents.
I spent it mostly with my girlfriend. She goes to school down there. She goes to Savannah College of Art and Design, so it was awesome to see her for the first time in a long time.
I was jet skiing with the dolphins. I was partying at the hotel. I was doing a bunch of wild stuff.
Where do you recommend to go for vacation?
I would recommend you go to Jamaica because that's really where I wanted to be during spring break.
I would recommend Aruba or someplace warm. California, maybe go west.
I really want to go to Panama City.
I love our country. I loved going to D.C. and kind of experiencing everything.
If you're looking for something exciting, I'd go to Siesta Key or Daytona or Fort Lauderdale.
Outer Banks in North Carolina. That's my go-to spot, absolutely.
The Outer Banks is beautiful, and if not there, Florida, somewhere in Florida, anywhere in Florida is amazing. But if I had to go somewhere specific in Florida, I'd say Daytona Beach.
Right where I came from, Destin, Florida.
From good to bad, Youngstown has a lot of history. Light the Wick reporter Zachary Rovnak is here to tell us about a piece of Youngstown history you may not be aware of.
Good Humor, a brand nationally recognized today, began separating itself from the competing brands right here in the Mahoning Valley. Harry Burt, the father of the company, began his business ventures by selling penny candy, expanding himself into ice cream, and eventually evolving the product. Bill Lawson, executive director of the Mahoning Valley Historical Society, met with me to elaborate on the subject.
He toyed around with the idea of, well, let's create a chocolate coating that doesn't melt. Yeah. And then it keeps all the ice cream inside. Well, they worked on that, but it tasted terrible. And so nobody would want to eat that because you had to put too much wax in the chocolate to keep that consistency. And I think it was either his son or daughter who were both in the business with him said, well, we make hard candy suckers, why don't we make an ice cream sucker? And that was the voila.
Continuing to revolutionize the industry, Harry Burt purchased a fleet of refrigeration trucks to help distribute the product door to door, eventually evolving into what we know today as the ice cream truck.
The first fleet of trucks that he bought, I believe there were a dozen of them. They were Chevrolet cabs and chassis, and then he had custom-built freezer boxes that went on the back of the trucks, and that ran through the 1920s.
Harry Burt made what is now the Tyler Center downtown into his main business destination. Wanting to create an experience for each and every customer, the historic building held dances, dinners, and much more than just your ordinary candy. The original cork walls used for insulating the freezer walls are still preserved today down at the Tyler Center.
So everything that we know about Good Humor and why we remember it today and why every time you're in your neighborhood and you see a truck selling ice cream with the bells or the little jingle going down the street, that you have to think about Harry Burt because he started that right here in Youngstown.
Reporting for Light the Wick, I'm Zachary Rovnak.
The Marketing Club will be hosting their 4th annual talent show here on campus. YSU's Got Talent will be held on Wednesday, March 22nd. Cash prizes will be awarded to the first, second, and third place winners. The event will be held in the Chestnut Room in Kilcawley Center from 5 to 7 p.m. If you have any questions, please contact the Marketing Club's email listed below. The Mahoning County Courthouse has been a fixture in Youngstown for over 100 years. The Mahoning County Courthouse was completed in 1910 and was designed by Charles E. Owsley in the Second Wern Renaissance Revival style. It is a historical treasure and a valued architectural design. The building has 6 courtrooms and is 4 stories high. At the center of the marble lobby floor, a 100 feet high is glazed art glass interior. The open lobby provides a panoramic view of the lobby balconies, offices, and courtrooms. The courthouse has won National Historic Preservation Awards and is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Youngstown's very own Iron Roots farming program held their garden workshop last week. During the workshop, community members were able to sit down and ask questions about how to start their own garden and how to maintain it throughout the year. Around 30 people showed up to this meeting with expert gardener and employee Corey. Attendees were able to take home a free booklet with information on local gardening and produce sales. Iron Roots has multiple workshops throughout the year to encourage those who want to start eating fresh organic food. You can visit YNDC's website to find upcoming workshops and other events the company has in store for this year. Without a doubt, one of the most unique buildings on the campus of Youngstown State University is the private residence of Mr. and Mrs. Tressel. Light The Wick reporters Ashley Custer, Emily Frazzini, Nicolette Pizzuto, and Scott Williams were lucky enough to take a guided tour throughout the Pollock House recently, led by none other than Mrs. Tressel herself.
Whether you're a freshman here at Youngstown State University or a senior about to graduate, you've probably wondered about this historic home located on Wick Avenue. We ourselves wanted to take a tour before we graduate. Come along with us as the First Lady of the University gives us an exclusive tour.
Hi, welcome to the Pollock House. This is the official residence of the President of the University. And this home was actually built in 1893, so it's been here quite a while. It was one of many mansions along Wick Avenue, and a lot of the others were torn down when the university expanded and went from being Youngstown College to Youngstown University to Youngstown State University. But this home for years, after the Wicks donated it to the university, was used for ROTC classes, sorority parties. Many functions went on in here as part of the university. The house operated as the Wick Pollock Inn from 1986 until 1998, and then it closed in 1998 and sat empty for about 10-12 years before renovation began to make it the official residence of the president. The house is actually on the National Register of Historic Places. Let me walk you through the house and I'll show you a little bit about what it's all about. It's a little different than what you would find in a home today because there are a lot of rooms and the style of architecture today is very open. This is not. These are a lot of sitting rooms that were individual for small groups of guests to come and meet with whoever they needed to meet with. One more place I'll show you, President Tressel's office. He does have an office here. This is the office off campus. Of course, he has an office in Todd Hall, but this is his office here at the residence. We're back here at Youngstown is because he credits Youngstown for a lot of his success as well. He got his start here at Youngstown State University, and now here we are on round 2. So he'd be the first to tell you that, but couldn't be more proud.
A special thank you for Mrs. Tressel for allowing us into your home and giving us an exclusive tour. Thank you for watching, and go Goins!
To see their full tour with Mrs. Tressel, click on the link in the description of this video below. If you're looking for something to do today to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, there's a lot going on. Downtown Youngstown is going green. Celebrate Shamrock the Block, an all-day event featuring live music and traditional Irish food with bagpipes. Mayor McNally will get the celebration started by tapping the first keg of seasonally colored beer at O'Donnell's Irish Pub and Grill. Other parties will be held at Cedars West End, Cricket's Bar, Groggy Mondays, Irish Bob's Pub, and Mojo's Pub and Grill. If you have any stories you'd like us to cover, check out our social media pages listed on the screen. That was it for this week for Light the Wick. I'm Paige Slavic. Have a safe and fun St. Patrick's Day weekend.